for the unit 5, which is related to the cultivation. You need to focus on cultivation aspects of those 3 plants.
Okay,
So definitely when they are given, they will ask you write about the cultivation of so and so plants. Okay, so in that case you need to write the general points whatever we mentioned, but main focus will be about the cultivation. If you write the morphology in detail, not attempting about the cultivation, it will be an incomplete answer. So you have to write the cultivation thoroughly without even missing anything. Even if you miss a few things in the morphology, it's okay, because this particular aspect is mainly concerned with the cultivation of that plant. So many times what happens is the students are missing the cultivation aspects and they are just writing the morphology only, where they will be losing the marks. That's why I'm insisting, please focus about these 3 plants. You have to write the cultivation in detail. Okay. Then we are moving to the unit 6, which is related to the pharmacognosy and adulteration of plant drugs. So in fact, the pharmacognosy is something related to the crude drugs. It is there in a full paper in pharmacy. The regular pharmacy students will have one full paper of this, the entire thing, whatever we are studying, being it is related to the medicines, okay, drugs basically. So here pharmacognosy means it is the study of crude drugs. Crude drugs means unprocessed drugs. So crude drugs are unprocessed drugs, means like as when we studied different medicinal plants, we try to it has, right? So those constants are not separated from the plant when they are used as it is. That's how actually the traditional system of medicine been using the plants in their drug preparation. Those are called crude drugs. But in the modern medicine, that is in allopathy, they take the active principle. That means they isolate the active principle in its pure form, and they will be yielded or split preparation system. Okay, so that's how I want to make the clarity between what is unprocessed. Here, unprocessed means never the active principles have been isolated, and even no chemical reaction been involved. Only the physical process, like as in the cultivation aspect, we told it is shade dried or even dried and made into powder, like in the case of coleus. So those are just physical changes. We are not going to keep, even in aloe. We told the yellow sap liquid has been taken and that has been dried and that is stored, right? So those are physical processes we are allowing or following just to make the plant material suitable for the use and also to the suitable for the storage and packing. That's it. No chemical reactions have been taken up to um, store those things. So those kind of products are called crude drugs. So unprocessed drugs are called crude drugs, and the study of those crude drugs is called pharmacognosy. So related to the pharmacognosy, it is in the page 70. Pharmacognosy can be a short question, or the other aspects of pharmacognosy, what is its role and all put together. It is a very important topic. You may get an essay question or short question as well. And in this, from this unit, there is a chance of 3 essay questions. In fact, at the end I'll discuss. So here it is, the word pharmacognosy has been given in the year 1815 by Seidler. He used this word pharmacognosy, like this word has been used in the place of materia medica. That is, materia medica means it is related to the information about the plants, medicinal plants, or information related to the drugs is called materia medica earlier. But in his publication, Electica Pharmacognostica was the article has been published in the year 1815. Seidler used the word pharmacognosy. pharma is drug, and gignoso means science. Okay, or knowledge. So it is the knowledge about the drugs is the meaning of the pharmacognosy. So from the year 1815 onwards, this is the word we are using for the crude drugs. Study of the crude drugs are concerned. So again, something like the medicinal plants introduction, here also the same thing. Charaka Samhita and Shushruta Samhita also we can mention. And about the Hippocrates, who is also the father of botany and sorry, the medicine. After the Hippocrates, it is the Dioscorides. He was a disciple of the Hippocrates. He actually documented nearly 600 medicinal plants after the Hippocrates. And Galen from 131 to 200 AD, he included opium as a painkiller, and also several minerals also he has been added as a crude drugs are in the medicine. It is so popular, something even in the United Kingdom, even today also, most of the medical shops in our country will just see it as druggists and chemists. That's how the signboards will be. So and so of the shop, medical shop, but below that they will write druggists and chemists, because that was how initially it has been started. And similar kind of thing in the UK, they'll write as galenicals, not druggists and chemists. They will be written as galenicals related to the pharma or pharmacy. So that is the contribution of the Galen to the development of medicinal botany in general, and also pharmacognosy or the pharmacy also in later stages. And Paracelsus is another person who actually studied about the medicinal plants in detail. And Lee was a person who has invented the um, alcoholic separation of the products from the plants and all. So like that, the study of the crude drugs has been entered as a subject like, and now it has been a full-fledged subject called pharmacognosy. So definition pharmacognosy, like already I told you about what all these things and all. So here, apart from the beginning, as we have given named some of the contributors to the subject, but actually the Greenish and Colin in 1904, they have written one book called it is the Anatomy of the Powdered Vegetable Drugs, Anatomical Atlas of Powdered Vegetable Drugs. Is a very important book for the pharmacognosy. That means being particularly with the vegetable drugs are concerned, the anatomical characters helps us a lot to study the correct identification of the drug, and also will be able to assess the purity of the drug. Then as we know, the pharmacognosy subject wise, it is related to the plants, and also we are using some anatomical information as well. And it is a interdisciplinary subject, like, and you see the information related to the pharmacognosy. We are going to briefly discuss about the morphology of the plant part used, and also definitely the which plant it is and to which family it belongs. So that means the basic botanical knowledge or the taxonomy knowledge is required. And as we mentioned, the chemical constants, it is chemistry or the phytochemical knowledge need to be there, right? So that's how actually in the being an interdisciplinary subject, different things need to be there. In the page 71, you can see the interrelationship ships of the pharmacognosy, as how it is related to the other fields. As it is related to the pharmacology, you can see, okay. And pharmaceutics, that is the drug development pharmacy is related to the allopathy medicine, right? So that is also you can relate. And medicinal chemistry, that is related to the natural and synthetic drugs also you can include. And finally it is the chemical pharmacy. So it is so much related to different fields of study, like pharmacology, pharmaceuticals, and medicinal chemistry, and also chemical pharmacy. So in a way, it is generally described as the pharmacognosy is the link between the traditional or the basic science botany to the applied field of pharmacy, being it is using both the information of the plant structure or the anatomical features and its correct identification, being what is the plant source and other things are concerned, and chemistry wise also the phytochemistry and all, and how it is going to be used in the drug industry. So the pharmacognosy is a connecting link between the basic science botany and the pharmacy, and as it is going to help us to develop a lot of new drugs, that is actually the scope of the pharmacognosy. As there are 5 points has been given in the page 72, we just can go through once, which are very important, like by knowing the plant substances present in certain plants, um, by the clear study of their chemistry, we'll be able to change the nature of the product. That's how the novel compounds can be made. And also some of the drugs, as they can be altered so that they become more effective drugs. So that is actually for the drug design, um, like synthetic substances can be derived. So that is in the point third. This helps to explain the source of therapeutically significant substances that can be synthesized economically. So that also can be a source. And the last point, the newly derived pharmaceuticals have to be ultimately incorporated in the suitable dosage, which involves pharmacology. So these are the different things. If you try to understand, will give the clarity about the scope of the pharmacognosy. Okay, so related to, there is a protocol for the study of the crude drugs, which is called pharmacognostic study. The protocol means the stepwise manner how you study any crude drug pharmacognostically. There are 10 to 11 in different books it has been given. So of course here it is 10. So different steps has been involved in the study of the crude drugs as a pharmacognostic study. The first one is the official title, synonym or vernacular names, any. So this is what actually when I told about the medicinal plants, I insisted you to know about the vernacular names, because if you want to review the articles of the world books and all literature, being they are written in different regional languages also, not only in India, even the other countries. So that's how we need to know the vernacular names. Official title means which is accepted, which is known and also used in all the industries. That is the official title. So this need to be known to have a correct identification. Then the second is the biological source and family. So this is the word we are going to use in pharmacognosy as biological source. Earlier so far when we discussed about the cultivation of medicinal plants or general study of medicinal plants, I told useful part of the plant. That is the common usage. Ultimately we are mentioning the same. Which part of the plant is useful is the general usage. Anyone can say that. But in pharmacognosy, the word we are going to use is biological source. Same thing we are going to give, but the word we are going to use is biological source. So which part of the plant is useful, we are going to indicate, and also to which family it belongs. That means these are the two things, like biological source, of course, we need to know which part is useful. But while mentioning about the family or else systematic position also, it has lot of significance. More often, we just think we are writing the family name to which it belongs. But if you think little deeper or with little depth-wise, when we are mentioning a family so and so, like in the case of Coleus, I told being a Lamiaceae member, these are the characters I told, right? So that is the significance you need to understand. When we are mentioning about the family name, it means basic characters, even though we need not describe, but one can expect the characters to be seen in that plant. like Apocynaceae or Acanthaceae or any of the family mentioned is going to give a basic idea about the plant. That is the significance. So that correct identification one can make. Then the third will be source means where it is naturally growing. So that is also very important. As in the beginning of the cultivation, I told the place also going to affect the quality of the drug. That's what is very important. So by growing the plants, we know what kind of geographical location means in which areas it is naturally growing, not under cultivation or distribution wise. Naturally, where it is growing, if you observe and study which area yields the better quality, wherever the regions having the same kind of climatic conditions, we can grow and get the same quality of the drug. That is the significance of knowing geographical source or habitat, not simply the location. Here it is about knowing the geographical location wise naturally, so that we can use that information to grow the crop or to grow the plant to get the same quality of the drug. Okay, that is the geographical location wise. Then coming to the fourth one is history and introduction of the crude drug. History means, of course, in which traditional system it has been used since what time. So that means when it has been introduced in the systems of medicine, that is very important to know, so that we are sure that that plant is in use since long time. Okay, so folk medicines and home remedies are different. When it is used in the systems of medicine means since long time, we are sure that that has been used and it is a safe one. So that gives one of the aspect. And also generally we'll know since how long it is in use. Okay, since how long, when it has been introduced in a particular medicinal system. So, let us say, like since 4,000 years, we know the information about the plants. Based on the different literatures, we can write. So that gives a kind of information how long it is in use, when it has been introduced in so and so system of medicine, and when it has been introduced in allopathy, like that. It gives a background information about the drug use and the plant information. Okay, that is about the fourth point. Then the fifth one, cultivation, collection, and processing of crude drugs. This is a brief, not in detail. So just here we are going to mention method of cultivation, mean propagation, how it has been propagated, either through seeds or cuttings or suckers, like that. And also the processing, and when can be harvested, because the plant's harvesting time is also very important. So each based on the biological source, which part is used, the harvesting condition will be different, varies. So if the leaves are used, so then the plant need to be harvested at the time of flowering. Just the initiation of the flowering is the best time for the harvest. After complete bloom and all, if you harvest, the leaves will not be having the active principle in its higher concentration. Okay, if it is the rhizomatic part, complete yellowing of the leaves shows the complete maturity of the plant. That is the time for the harvest, like that. So the cultivation, mean propagation, we are going to mention, and what is the we are going to follow, how to store them. These are the things we are going to know in the fifth aspect. Then coming to the sixth one, it is the morphological characters of the biological source, not about the plant. Okay, you should be able to distinguish the difference from the morphology what we have studied about the plant, and here the morphology of the plant part which is used. Let us say if it is the leaf, so what is the size of the leaf or the leaflet, what is the color, what is the taste and odor. These are the things we are going to write. Okay, if it is a stem or root or bark. So what is the surface characters? What is the color? What is the surface character? It is smooth or rough, having wrinkles or not. So all those things we are going to mention. Morphological characters we are going to mention if the crude drugs are concerned. Then microscopic studies. So the microscopic studies to identify the purity of the drug. So the microscopic studies are carried out in two ways. That is anatomical studies wise we can call. That means if the drug is available intact, then we can soak the dried material and still can take a section of it, where we can see the complete anatomical features of the drug. Or sometimes if the drug is stored in the form of powder, the best example we can mention is turmeric. Even though turmeric, we know, all of us know it is the rhizomatic part is the useful part, but the rhizomes are not stored like that, right? So it is the dried, boiled and dried rhizome powder is used, turmeric. So the turmeric powder also we can identify based on its anatomical features. That is called powder analysis. So the microscopic studies can be carried out two ways. One is taking the section if the drug is intact, or else even the powder also will be soaked for, allowed to absorb water for a while, and even the cell constants can be studied. That is called powder analysis. That is, the microscopic studies are concerned, which will be helpful to know the purity of the drug, as well as any impurities are also there. Suppose we know the characters of the drug, then if the similar characters are not seen, let us say there should be some kind of fibers, septate fibers need to be there. If it is not showing any kind of fiber, we know that is not a pure drug. So the purity and the quality both can be assessed through microscopic studies. Then the next one is the qualitative chemical analysis. That means here just to know whether that active principle, chemical constants are there in the drug or not. This is required because being the plant, biological source or the plant material, if you store the material for a longer time, the chemical constants might alter their form, or they deteriorate, or even their concentration might be reduced as well. So just to confirm that active principle, suppose if it is coleus, so 4-scoline need to be there, right? So just a qualitative assessment, not quantitative, qualitative, whether it is there or not, just to see that we can conduct some chemical tests which will prove that the drug is having the active principles. Then the last but one is the pharmacological studies. So here it is something like to test the efficiency of the drug. So we are able to pick up what plant material it is and have given entire information about it, morphology, anatomical features, and qualitative analysis also been made. But ultimately, whether it is showing the effect or not is important, right? So that's what pharmacological studies, whether how much dosage it required, and what effect it is showing on the tissues, and ultimately that is a pharmacological studies need to be made, confirm the efficiency of the drug, or to say to confirm the medicinal property of the drug. That is the ninth one. And the last one is commercial varieties, substitutes, and adulterants. This is a very important thing. So what are the commercial varieties of the drug? So sometimes, not often, but sometimes there will be different species of the plant also will be used, okay, as a same drug. So that's what actually commercial varieties. What are the commercial varieties? Sometimes there may be some cultivars also, so we need to name them. Then substitutes. Substitutes means the similar, some of the species of the same genus might be having the same kind of substances. So that can be a substitute, or some other completely different plant also, or complete different genera plant means also might be having similar constant, then that is also considered to be a substitute. As being all of our majority of us are teachers, we know what is a substitute. So we'll go in place of another, no? So it is accepted. That is the thing we need to understand. Substitutes are not some way they are less than the original. They are accepted because they also has the same property, has same efficacy and all. But the last word has given that adulterants. Adulterants are not the substitutes. Adulterants are of low quality substance or some other thing which will not be having any medicinal property. Those are called adulterants. So we, because why we need to bother about adulterant here? Because being they are commercial substances and more often adulteration is commonly found, we need to mention what is a substitute, okay, which is safe or accepted in the systems. But even adulterants are also are there in the market. It's not like to inform what can be in an adulterant, but we need to know what adulterants can be in each particular type of drug. The thing we are going to study as a protocol of the pharmacognostic study. Okay. Then the next heading is adulteration of plant drugs. So here there are two things, and so adulteration of the plant drugs is one thing, and there is detection of adulteration drug evaluation. Two headings are there. Please make sure what is asked. Both can be asked. Adulteration and evaluation can be asked, or specifically adulteration can be asked as an essay question, or evaluation can be asked as an essay question. So that means from this unit 6, you are going to get 3 essay questions. One is pharmacognosy and its scope, or the other one is adulteration of plant drugs. The last one can be adulteration and evaluation. So see the question carefully, read and follow the question carefully and try to attempt. So this is also often the students has been mistaken, like when the adulteration has been asked, some of the students will write evaluation, and at the similarly when the evaluation methods has been asked, the students are writing adulteration methods, which are in both the cases the answer is wrong. See the question, read carefully and write the answer. All are important. I am repeating again, pharmacognosy and its scope is important. Adulteration of the drugs is important, because that's where we are losing the good quality of the drug, no? Because so many adulteration types are been there. So what are the types and how they do? So those things are important, and how to know the adulteration, that is called evaluation, right? So evaluation is also very important. So in brief, we'll discuss about the adulteration first. So adulteration means actually called as debasement, degradation or deterioration of the drug. Okay, so adulteration is mainly intentional. Very rarely it is unintentional. Just to get more profit, because of the greediness of the man, this adulteration happens. Very rarely unintentional can also be. So here, so what are the different things which leads to the deterioration or the debasement of the drugs are concerned? There are given 5 different things. 6 different things have been here with the side headings in the page 74. Underline them. Each and everything is important. Deterioration. This is an important regarding the quality of the drug. So for different reasons, it is not of the same quality of the drug. That is called deterioration. Then it is admixture. So this is addition of substance to another due to ignorance or carelessness by accident. So this admixture is normally happens during the harvesting time or the collection of the drug. So other part of the plant, when the inflorescence, something like the cloves, when it is harvested, the inflorescence axis, stalks and other things are also can be there. Or some other plant material. Just now we discussed about andrographies. It is the leaves, main or young shoots. Even the branches, stem also will be the part of it. So like that, unintentional and also accidental. Sometimes if the bark drugs are there, other plants which are growing, mosses or lichens which are growing on the bark also can be the part of it. So these are just accidental or unintentional, like that is admixture. Then the third one is sophistication. Here the intentional or deliberate type of adulteration. So here the sophistication is the one, purposely the people are going to add the things which are found in the drug. So that is called sophistication, deliberate type of adulteration. Then the substitution. Here it occurs with when a totally different substance. So here it is intentional only. So in the place of one drug, if it is completely different has been added, that is called substitution. Then inferiority. Any substandard drug can also be added. So naturally the drug will be of low quality, that is called inferiority. And spoilage. Actually, the first deterioration and spoilage are related to the package and storage. When they are not properly packed, dried, packed, and stored, the first deterioration and the last spoilage can happen. Because of excess amount of moisture, the drug deterioration will be there. More fungal growth can also be happen, bacterial infection can happen, or even if it is not properly packed and stored, pest infestation also, insects can spoil or rodents can spoil. So all these things, first and last deterioration spoilage is due to negligence in drying, packing and storage. So we are coming to the other thing of types of adulteration. So what types of adulteration can be there in the market or in the general field? So the first one is substitution with substandard commercial varieties. There will be a resemblance with the commercial drug, but it will not be having the same type of quality substance there. So here few examples are given, as you can see in the page 75. The first one has been given with the Strychnos naxoamica. Here the seeds will be having the similar, not exactly similar. They look different, but this is the example has been mentioned as an adulterant is Strychnos potatorum, chillaginjal antaru. Some of you must be knowing these seeds. In the earlier days, particularly in the summer season, when the people used to collect water from the tanks, చెరువుల నీరు as the people use as a drinking water, it will be usually in the color will be there, that muddy color and all. So to remove that soil particles and other things, impurities from the water, they used to put one seed of it. So the impurities, whatever will be settled down completely, just it will be like a filter water, like within a few hours. So that is the Strychnos potatorum seeds, chillaginjal antaru. So that seeds are adulterated with the Strychnos naxoamica seeds. And similarly, with the root drug is concerned, here Rauwolfia serpentina is the original drug, and Rauwolfia tetraphylla roots are also looks the same. Actually, even chemical constants also will be there in the drug, but in a very low concentration, because here the similarity wise only the tetraphylla, Rauwolfia tetraphylla roots are being adulterated very commonly in the market. And the last example, most of you will agree also, Piper nigrum, that is pepper, black pepper seeds or fruits. If it is offline class, this will be my regular question. Pepper seeds or fruits? What is the morphology of black pepper? Pardon? Yeah, they are dried fruits. But in common usage, we call them as pepper seeds only. మిరియాల గింజలే అంటాం కదా, మిరియాలు ఫ్రూట్స్ అనం, right? But technically they are dried fruits. The pepper is dried fruits, right? So the dried pepper nigrum is very commonly adulterated with the carica papaya seeds. Carica papaya, that is papaya seeds. They resemble so much. If you carefully observe, we can definitely identify the difference, because papaya seeds are conical and they are slightly pale in color. but pepper fruits need to be globose, and the wrinkles are also different because it's a dried fruit, not the wrinkles like on the seed. So if you observe closely, we can identify, but it's a very common adulterant in the market. But one thing is, there won't be any harm in this kind of adulteration. There is no harm to the person even after adulteration. Then the second category is substitution with superficially similar inferior drugs. So here just the resemblance, no active principle of resemblance. So much bigger neem leaflet like similar kind of serrate margin, oblique base and all. So Ailanthus is also a medicinal plant, of course, a very big tree, Peddamanu antaru. So the bark is used. So those leaves are adulterated with the belladonna leaves because belladonna leaves are much expensive. Then similarly, the second example, saffron, that is Crocus sativus, Kumkum puvantam. This saffron is adulterated with the Carthamus tinctorius, that is a safflower. Kusuma ginjal under Kusuma nune or Kusuma ginjal is very common to us. It is an edible oil yielding plant, just like the helianthus. Sunflower lagane safflower oil kuda, it is a edible oil. But the corolla yields color. Tubular corolla, only disc florets are seen in the Carthamus. So as they are orangish red color, when they are dried, they also shrivel and become a very thin structures. So it is very easy to mix in the safflower. So 99% of the safflower what we purchase is adulterated because saffron is very expensive unless we pay 2,000 to 3,000. Even then also I'm not very sure, but it will be very costly. 1 gram may cost 2 to 3,000 rupees, but in Hyderabad Begum Bazaar will get 100 rupees onwards. The box, 1 gram of box will be from 100 rupees onwards are also available. That shows. By that we can really understand how much of adulteration will be there. Okay, so there is a very, very common okay. Useful, but it is always the variety of the Japan wax is used in the place of beeswax. Okay, so the here also in all these first and second categories, there is no harm because of the adulterant. We are not going to get the profit out of it. Means we are paying more, but not getting the benefit out of it. But there is no harm as such. But coming to the third one, substitution with artificially manufactured substances. Okay, so here the examples are given here: coffee with the compressed chicory and bee wax with yellow colored paraffin wax. So here mostly coffee seeds like they made with the compressed chicory is also mixed with coffee. It adds like a kind of aroma. Many people like, in fact, but the chicory powder is made into small compressed structures like, so as they resemble coffee seeds. That is one kind of adulteration. Bee wax also will be colored, paraffin is colored and sold as a bee wax. So here a complete different product the consumer is going to get, still not very harmful. But the other category of adulteration is substitution of exhausted or already extracted drugs. So here more often with the volatile oil yielding plants this happens. So here even the examples has given fennel. I don't think fennel oil has been adulterated so much, but cloves, even coriander also not much, but cloves and cinnamon, the cloves that is lavangalu and cinnamon that is dalchini, and even elachi also, whatever we buy in the market, they're all exhausted drugs. Exhausted means the volatile oil, when it is subjected to the steam, the plant material is subject to the steam, the volatile oil will get evaporated and that will be collected. But the plant material is not showing any kind of that extraction procedure, because just they are intact. Will be not knowing whether it has the oil or not. Particularly the clouds, you can also experience after my session. You can just check once the clouds, whatever you have at the house. If you press the clouds, fresh and best clouds, if we press the cloud bud, we need to feel the oil on our fingers. But in reality, even we crush the clouds also, we never find any oil. Just check once after my class, because they're all extracted, exhausted clouds. And still they'll have its aroma, because clove oil is one of the strong oil in most of the aromaticals. It is one of the strongest smell. So even small quantities there, still we'll feel that aroma, and we are happy with the spice as well, right? So those are something exhausted drugs like. So here we are not going to get the benefit because it is completely drawn out. I mean, the chemical constants were taken out. So that is the substitution with exhausted or already extracted drugs. So even sawdust has been, most of us are familiar with the different kinds of adulteration in day-to-day consuming products. Like sawdust has been mixed, colored sawdust has been mixed with chili powder, and also exhausted tea powder, colored and used in the villages as a cheap non-branded tea powder, like which is actually exhausted, and just it will be colored to get that brown color to the satisfaction of the consumer. Okay, so like that, there are different kinds of exhausted drugs have been there, adulteration kind. And another one is substitution by synthetic chemicals. So addition of benzoyl benzoate to balsam peru, and citral to the citrus oil. So this is a kind of aroma has been added to the citrus oil. The synthetic oil when is used in the place, so we'll feel the same smell. And here the addition of the synthetic substance, even though it is not given here, like the turmeric is often adulterated with metanyl yellow or lead estate. So whichever is the turmeric we buy in small packets, even like pasupu kunkuman istam kada. So always I think that turmeric is 100% adulterated one. It looks almost brownish or orangish brown, deep color, yellowish brown it need to be, right? So it is mostly the lead estate or mercury chloride is been added, metanyl yellow is been added to give that bright color. Here not only they are chemical substances, they are harmful to the health, they are carcinogenic. So that's why I always advise my students to prepare the turmeric at home. Mostly in most of the households, the people will prepare only, but or otherwise we need to purchase a branded one, hoping that is not adulterated. But never buy any kind of small packets of turmeric which is 100% or 101% adulterated. Okay, so that is very harmful. And here the harmful adulterants has been given, you can just see, which are not always, but sometimes. So here the harmful adulterants, last category has been given, like one is Asafoetida, that is hing. Hing is mixed with limestones, because yellowish white color stones they mix, limestones has been added. Not really harmful, okay, but the cardamom seeds, this is really strange rodent fecal matter, like not intentionally collecting. So if they are just not properly stored, that might be. And here it is turmeric powder, sawmill waste powder is added. And also, as I told you, metanyl yellow and lead estate are also being added to add color to the substandard, this kind of sawmill dust and all. Then coconut oil is mixed with white oil, and cocoa butter with paraffin. So here with the oils, we also can also mention that there is one plant called Arjuman mexicana, a weed plant in our area, but very common weed again, but so abundant in the state of Rajasthan. The people extract the oil from those Arjuman mexicana seeds. That is, earlier days, traditionally, that oil is used in lighting the lamps in the villages. But because of the similarity of the color, dark brown in color, it is very commonly adulterated with mustard oil. So mustard oil is the cooking oil in the northern states, right? So that's why the ajman oil is much used as an adulterant, again, which is carcinogenic and can lead to the complete paralysis of the people as well. So different kinds of similarity with substitution with a very inferior and also harmful type of oils also we can mention. So then we need to know whether the drugs are adulterated or not. That's what is the meaning of drug evaluation. To know, so drug evaluation means this is the assessment of the drug to know the purity and the quality of the drug and even the nature of the adulterant. If the adulterant is there, even to find out the nature of the adulterant, that is what actually called the drug evaluation. So it is to know the purity and the quality of the drug, and if any adulterant is there, even to find out the nature of the adulterant is called the evaluation. So the evaluation is necessary as given, like it is biochemical. Naturally, if the drug is not the original, the biochemical variations will be there, deterioration due to treatment and substitution with all the other things, what all we have seen in the adulteration. Because of all these things happen, we need to do the evaluation. That is the reason for evaluation. So here there are methods of evaluation. There are 5 methods: morphological evaluation, microscopic evaluation, then physical evaluation, chemical and biological evaluation. So the first morphological evaluation is also called as organoleptic evaluation. By the observation with the sensory organs like the color, shape, odor, taste, and texture. These are the things without any equipment we can make it, right? So that's why the organoleptic evaluation or the morphological evaluation is the easiest way, and also first hand evaluation at even in the marketplace we can do it, right? So that's why it is called, with the experience one can do this evaluation very efficiently. Then the second one is microscopic or anatomical studies. That's what we told, no, in the pharmacognostic study we told microscopic studies are being there. So here, by knowing the anatomical characters of the drug, let us say it will have at certain type of vessels, or certain types of fibers, or certain types of stomata in the case of leaf drugs. So if we find this characters, anatomical characters are the same like the original one, we can confirm its purity. If something else are seen, or the characters need to be seen are not there, we can confirm there is an adulterant. So what adulterant? Slowly we can also confirm what type of adulterant also, by, because of the familiarity of the adulterant also in the market very often, we'll know what characters will be seen. Okay, so that is studied with the microscopic and anatomical characters. So here I told you it is anatomical study or powder analysis. Both the ways we can do the analysis. So there are a lot of anatomical features has been given, like how the vessels are, the thickenings of the vessels and all, even the starch grains, and any kind of calcium oxalate crystals or raphides or anything. So we have some information about in the page 77. We have that information. What kind of trichomes, what kind of stomata, all these can be used to assess the purity and the quality of the drug. That is called microscopic or anatomical evaluation. And the third one is physical evaluation. This we require lab, and of course earlier thing also we need microscope, means we need to have some basic lab facility, but for the physical evaluation we need the lab equipment. Like here we are going to see the moisture content by using the oven, and also for the oils and liquid form of the drugs, their viscosity, density, refractive index, optical rotation. These are the things we can assess. And certain drugs like solid, if they are, even their solubility, whether they are soluble in water or in alcohols. So that also we can, or organic solvents. So all those things we are able to assess. Those are called physical evaluation, right? And even boiling point, melting point, all these things. Then coming to the chemical studies here, just a qualitative chemical test we can confirm. So because we know the nature of the constants, what the plant material have. So accordingly, we can conduct whether it is alkaloid test can be conducted, steroidal glycoside tests like anthraquinone of the senna leaves, like that different chemical tests we can perform and confirm whether that active principles or chemical constants are there in the drug or not. Then biological evaluation, this is the ultimate. So actually in doing the evaluation, one aspect generally we mentioned that no evaluation method is completely authentic. Every, it is a stepwise, one after the other we are going to do. And even sometimes chemical studies are not always possible, because something like the vitamin C or vitamin D, which are very unstable, and even oxytocin, a hormone kind of thing, very unstable. So ultimately we need to rely on the conclusion of the evaluation based on the biological evaluation. So if it is pure in other things as or not, but it should be able to show the biological activity, that is called biological evaluation. So how much the activity which is shown by the substance, we call it as biological evaluation. So hypoglycemic activity, if it is can reduce the sugar levels, so hypoglycemic activity we conduct. And the anti-fertility test can be conducted, anti-inflammatory test. So all this based on the pharmacognostic study, I mean how they are medicinally useful. As we know, the same test, antimicrobial test we can conduct, and anti-inflammatory test we can conduct, like that different tests we can conduct. So this is ultimately going to help us to evaluate the drugs for the benefit of the consumer, whether the drugs are pure, are also having the same desired quality, and also quantity. Latter part, here in the crude drug analysis we are not going to see the concentration of the active, at least that should be there. Okay, so that's what actually in the end it is told, like resource management and prevention of adulteration. There are like a drug development, how these drug inspectors are there for the allopathy medical system. Similar kind of the Central Drug Research Institute, CDRI, is going to monitor, and National Institute of Botanic Garden and Research University, NBRA, Lucknow, is going to monitor, and CMAP, Central Institute of Medicinal and Aromatic Plants Institute, is going to look after the maintenance of this adulteration and management of the drugs as well. So these are certain things, and rare and medicinal plants. Okay, just additional information. Okay. So this is about the unit 6. So here we have very important questions already I told. Pharmacognosy can be a short question or even an essay question. So here adulteration of the crude drugs can be an essay question, and even evaluation. So like the fourth question given in our textbook, if this is the case, you have to write both. And it is short questions wise, pharmacognosy, drug adulteration are very important. So be thorough with this unit 6. And in brief, I'll discuss about the unit 7, that is ethnobotany, history, scope and importance. So this is going to be a very important topic, and definitely are going to get a short question. Ethnobotany can be an essay question, or else, ethnobotany can be a short question, or discuss about ethnobotany and its role in modern medicine or its importance, scope, either the way it can be an essay question. So as I told you, if you are thorough with the medicinal botany, that is the easiest way to complete your syllabus examination point of view. I am not saying you can forget about embryology. It is important to learn the subject, but for the preparation is concerned, just concentrate on the medicinal botany because it is a very limited information, and it is very interesting with different headings and all being related to the medicinal plants, adulteration and all. Definitely you'll be also more interested in that to study, and it is easy also to write in the exam because no need of diagrams and all, because nowadays biology students are struggling to draw a diagram. Okay, so I'll just comment. Okay, so the ethnobotany, with briefly I'll discuss and I'll end the session. So ethnobotany, history and scope. So this is actually the ethnobotany is the study. Initially, it is called an economic botany, and later on, as in the page 83, there are different definitions has been given. You just read. Ultimately, it is the interaction of the human with it with his surroundings, or the interaction of the aboriginal people with his surroundings, or the aboriginal people and the medicinal plants what they use, ultimately is ethnobotany. Aboriginal people means the tribal people, so it is related to the ethnobotany, in a way is related to the tribal people, their culture, and the plants what they use in their um, healthcare. Okay, so that is what actually, even though we call it as interaction of the human with the surroundings or the plants and medicinal plants and all, ultimately this is the study of vegetation used by aboriginal by their different commodities and all, the use of plants by aboriginal people, whatever. So there are different definitions. Actually, this is the ethnobotany word was as actually defined by the Harshberger in 1895. So different versions has been told. As I made it a very simple thing. It is the tribal or aboriginal people interaction with the surroundings and the information about the medicinal plants what they use in their healthcare. That is the ultimate simple simplification of the meaning of ethnobotany. So the traditional knowledge is also called as traditional environmental knowledge, TEK, traditional knowledge like. So the concept and scope has been, it is very new in fact, but in the recent 25 to 30 years time, there is much development in the ethnomedicinal studies. So this is also a kind of interdisciplinary science. As you can see in the page 85, it has been given how this ethnobotany is related to. So as I told you, this is related to the aboriginal people or the tribal people. So I am just give a kind of overall information about this ethnobotany, because so far we had discussed about traditional systems of medicine and different medicinal plants, their cultivation, adulteration, all these things. These are related to the mainstream traditional systems, are the people, mainstream people, are the mainland people, what plants they are using in what way, and all those things they are documented. Mostly it is there, it's an available information to everyone. But when we look into the tribal people habits and their food and their dependence on the plants for their healthcare and all, completely they are different, right? Mostly the tribal people live in a forest areas, remote areas, away from the mainstream, right? So their medicinal plants, regions or hilly regions or valleys, those plants are definitely not familiar to all of us, not even written in the different traditional systems as well, completely so far. So that means there is lot of knowledge, but not available to all of us. That is one thing. So as we know that the plants, the vegetation will be definitely different in the valleys and the hills and then the interior forests I'm talking about. So we will be knowing many more new medicinal plants that way. And also it's not simply knowing what plants they use, but also in what method, based on their food habits as well, because it also related to the diet and all. So at what time they use and with what diet they are going to use the drugs. So overall information about the culture, their tradition, their food habits, everything we need to know about the tribal people, along with the main focus on the medicinal plants what they use for their healthcare. So something like it will be a ready-made information for us, instead of starting exploring new medicinal plants to study that may not be giving the positive results all the time. After completing a long, so much time of efforts of time and money and all, we may not be getting the positive results all the time, not for sure. But when you are taking this kind of information, the people are using generations together that kind of knowledge, that the plant material. So it's a proven knowledge, right? Just we have to confirm whether they're having some beliefs also, certain plants has been used. So just we have to confirm whether they're having the medicinal properties or not, how effective they are. So the last thing in the evaluation we did not like biological evaluation. So if we carry out that part, then we are sure that whether they can okay. So this is having a lot of scope when it is related to the Aboriginal people. So here the different things as the contribution involvement of different disciplines of ethnobotany are pharmacology, of course, that is the drug, psychology, the people, of course, sociology, the social structure of the tribal people and all, archaeology, anthropology, economic botany, and geography. So these are the different things we need to see about the not just going and picking the information about the medicinal plants. All these things are going to affect the information as well as the use of that plant material. So scope and ethnobotany interdisciplinary revise. So what are the different things the ethnobotany is going to add? So as the tribal people are usually lives in a small temporary places, like they are called as hamlets. The small regions where they settle, those are called hamlets. No, so those are the hamlets. The different ethnic groups are having. They are related to so many things of their day-to-day life. As you can see, the different headings there. Ethnobotany is one thing we are concentrated, but it is related to their ethnomedicine, ethnobiology, ethnogynecology, ethnopediatrics. So all these fields, like how they are in the modern medicine. So so many aspects we can actually can consider our approach while taking the information. So then even ethnomusicology, ethno-narcotics and ethnotoxicology, all the things. So complete entire day-to-day life of the people we need to know to have the better benefit of the medicinal plants knowledge. Okay, so here the different headings are being given and some information about the tribal people who generally practice the podo cultivation and the zoom cultivation and all these things in a little bit. So the importance of ethnobotany, as I already told, it is something we are going to add the information to our mainstream knowledge, which will be a ready-made information and also proven information. Just only we need to confirm. So here there are very eminent personalities are being there in our Telugu states, like who carried lot of ethnomedicinal studies. Rola Seshagirrao, former professor of Andhra University, and Kopula Hemadri, they both carried out lot of ethnomedicinal studies, starting from the East Godavari, West Godavari, and Khammam district, and all these regions, and even the government projects also, they carried different projects to study these ethnomedicinal studies, and documented so much of information also. So just to know what this ethnomedicinal is like, when we explore a new area and try to know their culture and their plants, what they use and all. So here a brief thing is given, like Columbus, when he reached discovered America అని చెప్తాం కదా. So as he, while searching America, he just reached Cuba first. Yeah, he started his voyage to reach India, of course, but he landed at America. But he also brought some of the things from Cuba and also tobacco, which were introduced to the European countries from there, so which are unknown to Europe. So you can just see in the page 92. So he actually got the information of the corn as GM maize and cocoa theobroma, allspice pimentia and cotton gossypium, and potatoes Solanum tuberosum also. So you can think, so these are all introduced from the Columbus voyage to so like that, different things. While we are exploring the ethnomedicinal studies, it is going to be so much useful. Here the practical applications of ethnobotanical data, here in the page 93, some of the things. So ethno-directed sampling for biodiversity prospecting, that means we are going to see what are the different plants and how abundant they are. That is the inventorying and prospecting documentation kind. So generating income from renewable plant resources, a new set of plants will be added to our list. Then maintaining and improving methods of production which are suitable to local environmental conditions, and conservation and recognition of local knowledge, which is crucial to cultural survival. And one more, how far that is really our intention, we need to think about it, because it is our need and also selfishness to know the knowledge what they have already have. But one thing is the traditional knowledge, whatever the kind, either it is from tribal people or the remote aboriginal people and all, it is the so valuable knowledge because of the habitat loss. Not only the animals and all, even the tribal people are losing their habitat for different reasons. So, and even the culturally, as they are losing the identity and all. So with all these changes that are happening worldwide, there is a drastic loss of traditional knowledge is happening and is going to happen. So when we lose or lost that knowledge forever, it takes thousands of years again to gain that knowledge, because it's not suddenly happened and some discovery. Like as we told, medicine is a continuous knowledge accumulated over thousands of years in the generations, right? So that's what actually the knowledge need to be acquired and documented, and where from we have taken that knowledge also need to be paid back. So the conservation of the species and habitats, and also the people need to be benefited out of this knowledge acquired by the other people. That acknowledgement and also the benefit both need to be given to the local people. So this is going to be a very important subject in future also, like the biodiversity, as I told earlier sometimes. So how important it will be in future. Even ethnobotany has so much of scope to be elevated as a PG course. That much of scope is there. At least now you try to understand how important it is. It provides a very good traditional information to know about the medicinal plants which are not in our field and also in our vicinity. And they are proven plants as they are used by those people since long time. We just only thing is we need to confirm it. And after confirmation, we have to conserve it, protect them, and also provide some economic benefit also to those people, so that they'll be benefiting, as well as it is a great help to the society as well, as they are giving a lot of information about medicinal plants. Okay, so it is ethnobotany can be just a short question. You need to be very brief in that, and also like it can be an essay question as well. I think for today it is enough. The next session, not tomorrow because I'm not able to take the class tomorrow. So Kumar sir will arrange the class tomorrow, and on 23rd I'll take the session. Then I'll discuss the last topic of conservation of medicinal plants. Then we will be moving to the embryology part. Is it okay? I hope I am audible so far.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Because I want to give at least a few important things in the medicinal botany today. I covered cultivation of medicinal plants, then pharmacogenesis and adulteration, and ethnobotany. Okay, thank you everyone. See you in the next
Thank you,
session.
madam. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Thank you.
उसके बाद इसका एक बच्चा है मोटा पत्ती को पूरे उसके बाद इससे ज्यादा बड़ा बच्चा है चल रहा अच्छे बड़ा है और अम्मा बेटी नमाज पढ़ रहे